Good morning, my beautiful people and my napkins and queens. If you like this type of live streaming today, I'm doing something a little different. This is my version. I found this recipe of how to bake pound cake because I love pound cakes and just vanilla ice cream. And this is an easy. Why would you? Hello? Sorry about that. I had a call. Sorry about that. I had a call. So sorry about that. So now you're going to have to work with me a little on this camera. I can't keep moving it as I stated. So that was a phone call. So I will show you everything. But as I was saying, this is an easy recipe to me that I found. I love pound cakes and ice cream. So I'm doing it in a loaf pan, okay? So I'm at home. So just trust the process and follow me on this journey. But first and foremost, like, comment, subscribe, share, turn your notification bells, because I do live streaming of outfit of days, get ready with me, a little bit of here and there, but mainly lifestyle, beauty, fashion, DIYs, and crafts I'm gonna incorporate. So again, follow me on this journey and trust the process. So I have everything here, not to make this a long draw or cooking video. And also, there is a young lady, this is my disclaimer, she doesn't know me and I don't know her, but I've watched her. I love her method. I love her techniques. She's old school, and I know she'll get this. She's younger than me, but she's a full-grown woman. I just love how she prepares and her process of making cakes. She's called the Bunt Lady. The Bunt Buddy, sorry, mixed that up. But I will put her description box. Now again, disclaimer, I don't know her. She don't know me. I found her on TikTok through the Hillman Talk. I didn't even know anything about Hillman Talk. When it's coming across your timeline or your FYP, that's how I discovered her. And I just started watching her. She's very informative, and I just love her. She, again, my disclaimer, she doesn't know me and I don't know her, but I love her process of how she prepares her pound cakes, and I will put her description down in the description box. So we're gonna move right along. Now, one thing that I did do prior to getting these ingredients, I'm gonna try to move it a little. I'm so sorry, I'm working. Just trust the process. There we go. So you can see it just a little better. Okay. So what I did was to go ahead and prepare. I went ahead and melted my butter because I didn't want it to be hot. And I have my 4 eggs that I already set out at room temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and measure my my dry ingredients and some of the liquid, which is my vanilla. Give me just a second. Because this is real, raw, uncut, unfiltered, unedited, I may have to bring my fan in here so I won't get so hot. Yes, I have to have a fan. Hello, Summer. Give me just a second. I think I'll be okay. Now, I'm not, and the reason why I mention that lady, the Bunt Buddy, because she's a professional, she's a baker. I'm just somebody that know how to make things work, okay? So, and yes, I do have my the recipe written so I can reference back to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure the things, and now it calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure this, and these little bowls, I think it's 10 of them. These are called nesting bowls. I have them in every size. It is a complete set. I hope everyone is having a great Easter and all the kids getting to wear their little. Now I have some wax paper down. Yes, I wiped my counter off, but I put the wax paper just to for easy cleanup. Still gonna wipe the counter down with some disinfectant. So I got the vanilla already. So now I'm moving on. I need a half a teaspoon of salt. I spilled something in that one, didn't mean to. Now this is a paper towel that I've had. I'm gonna have to rinse this out and dry it. I don't want the salt to be clumpy, so I'm gonna have to get another paper towel. Trust me on this process. Follow me on this journey. Okay. Had just a little mishap. That's why I said it's real raw, uncut, unfiltered, unedited. This is just an easy recipe because it's just me that's eating the pound cake. So I was like, I searched and I found one that I can have in a loaf pan. So I was like, okay, easy. Yes, I'm using cake flour. Okay. As I said, I'm not a baker. So next is calling for half a teaspoon of salt. Now I would have already prepared all of this, but I said I'll let you see it as I'm doing it. I don't want to put too much salt in there, so we're gonna. And this is for my salt. Got the salt. I'm just moving my things to the side. Next is gonna call for a teaspoon of baking powder. And since I had vanilla in this, I'm just gonna slightly rinse this out and dry this measuring utensil off. I have dishwater with a little Clorox. Yes, I am old-fashioned. To me, as my mama used to always say, just putting a little Clorox in your water, that just get that fresh smell. I don't know. That's what she used to always say. So I just go by what my mama used to say. I really do. So I opened the baking powder just a little bit. So to save on some time. And it's asking for one. Of course, you know, I do kind of like tap it off. And there I have. So I have all that. Now, next I'm going to move on to my sugar. So I'm going to sit these ingredients here to the side. So you know what kind of, what my flour is going to be, cake flour. I'm going to move that to the side. So now I'm going to do my sugar. This one is bigger now. See, I have these nesting bowls in all sizes. I keep my sugar, my flour and meal in a plastic bag, if you're wondering. Yes, I do. Now, this recipe doesn't call for a mixer. You hand mix it. So that was important too because I don't have a hand mixer yet. So this calls for 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar. Okay, and I have 1 cup here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this 1 1/4 cups. Alrighty, into this bowl, and then I'm going to do a 1/4. Now, another disclaimer, now I'm not a baker, I just know how to make things work. I'm just moving my things on the side. I can't move my tripod around as much, so hopefully you can see. Again, I will show you every ingredient. So there I have my sugar. So I have my vanilla, my salt, my baking powder. You've already seen the melted butter and my eggs. So next I'm going to measure off my 1/2 cup of cake flour. I can put the cake flour back into the measuring bowl. So for the cake flour, it's asking for 1 1/2 cup. Don't worry, I have another box. Right, so. And if you're wondering, oh, I need another bowl for the flour. Leave that right here. Get the bowl for the flour. Okay, this is the 1 cup, and now I need to add a half a cup to this mixture. Maybe we eyeballing it right. And we had enough. Didn't even have to open the box. Again, this recipe didn't call for a hand mixer. So this is my spatula, my whisk that I'm going to use to mix this together. Now I've made this recipe again. I like that young lady's method. I love her process. So I haven't gone to any of her classes. I made this loaf pound cake several times prior to finding her or coming across her page on TikTok. You know, I have to keep it white. So, and I have another half a cup. So I have all of that. I'm gonna try to move this so it won't, can be right here. And I have a spatula so that I can scrape all ingredients out of my bowl. So now that I have the cake flour, I have the baking powder, the salt, the sugar, the melted butter, 4 eggs, and I have my vanilla extract. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and mix the ingredients. And yes, I am. I said I'm not a baker. I'm looking at the ingredients. So in a large bowl, which I'm going to get, this isn't my biggest nesting bowl, but this is big enough for what I needed to do today. So I'm gonna set the measuring bowl to the side. And oh, before I get started on that, I'm gonna go ahead and crack my eggs. Okay, so what we're gonna do is first I'm gonna go ahead and put the cake flour, baking powder, and the salt together, and I can just set this to the side before I crack my eggs because that mixture goes with the wet ingredients. So this is the bowl I'm going to do the mixing in. I'm going to do my cake flour. A little bit of cake flour right in there. Yes, I get all ingredients. And my baking powder. This is the baking powder. I don't see why people don't be, I don't know. That gives me. And I'm going to mix the salt. So all of these ingredients have been added. These mixing bowls here, I can sit to the side. So it asks that you whisk together these dry ingredients. Remember, this is the cake flour, the salt, and the baking powder. Hopefully you can see. I don't have anywhere I can plug. I don't have the lighting, so hopefully you can see. So now this should be well whisked together. These are the dry ingredients. Again, this is the cake flour, the sugar. This is real, raw, uncut, unfiltered, unedited, and unscripted. This is the cake flour, the salt, and the baking powder. I'm just gonna sit this to the side right here on top of my microwave. And next I'm going to do the wet ingredients in a bowl together. I'm going to whisk together the sugar. So this is the measuring. This is my sugar. I'm going to set this to the side, out of the way. And the melted butter. I think I want to wait on that. Melted butter. Okay, that's right. So I'm just going to go ahead and, before I add the melted butter to the sugar, go ahead and crack my eggs and put them in this bowl. Now, these two, my melted butter and the eggs, these little bowls, these aren't a part of my nesting set. I found these, I forget at what store, but I'm going to go ahead and let me make sure I have somewhere to bag so I can put these eggs in. I just moved my little bag right here on the floor. So I'm just going to crack. And it calls for 4 large eggs. Now, my eggs have been sitting out at room temperature. Now, if I see a little shell, I just get me a teaspoon and I just get this shell out. Well, I'm going to try to. Again, don't judge me because I'm not a baker. I'm trying to get this shell out. All right, there we go. Okay. Sit this right here. Just in case of another one. This is second egg. Okay. That one went smooth. Third egg. That one went smooth. And fourth egg, last but not least. Star of the show. And here I have another shell. I think this is just the color of the egg, though. It's not a shell. I got it. Thank you, Lord. Got it. All right. I do have a bag that's right on the side, so I wouldn't have to keep moving. So get all the excess off the wax paper. So now that I have the eggs cracked, I'm gonna mix together the eggs, the melted butter, and the vanilla together. And then I'll go on with the next steps and gonna preheat my oven. See, it's very simple. I say it's simple because I'm not a baker. So I think this recipe is very simple and easy instructions to follow. Now, where did I find this? I can't even remember, but I will try and find it and link it below. But I like it because it's in a loaf pan. And before we get started, I'll show you my loaf pan once I get ready to put my ingredients together. But now we're going to whisk together the sugar, melted butter, and the eggs and the vanilla. So I'm going to put my eggs in and the melted butter. Yes, I scrape everything, so don't talk about me over here. Why waste those ingredients, honey? I remember coming up, you can call me whatever you want to, but I remember as a little girl, I saw my aunts them do that, baby. They didn't leave nothing in the bowl. So I don't know this new thing about they left nothing. Now remember, don't need a hand mixer, just so I have my whisk. Gives you a little arm exercise. So, but I hope everyone remembers the true meaning of this Easter. I'm so thankful and grateful to be here, meaning in this moment of my life, which I posted. Make sure you check out all my social media apps. Check out my community posts here on my YouTube channel. Let me say it again now. I'm not a baker, so, I just know how to make things work for me. I'm kind of like standing back, so give it a good whisk, and then you're basically done. So I want to make sure that I got all that vanilla out of, yes, I scraped everything. When I say everything, I leave nothing. So I'm going to whisk this again. And now, since I have all of this, everything is mixed together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven, because, baby, I have personal summers and I don't want it to be so hot. So I'm making sure that everything is mixed together, well mixed together. You don't want to mix it so that it starts to scramble. Kind of, you know what I'm saying? You have to, now that part I do know. You don't want to mix it together where you have scrambled eggs. I guess they call it what, emulsifying? I don't know. I'm not a baker. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this oven. You have to preheat it to 350 degrees. And then I'm going to sit this aside. And I'm going to remember I put the cake flour, the baking powder, and the salt in there. I just don't like these little things I see in here. So gotta paper. So I'm just like this. So sue me. Alrighty, moving right along. And that's it. See how simple I say it's simple now. I'm not a baker again. That's my disclaimer. Now remember, I have my dry ingredients here. So again, this is the cake flour, the baking powder, and the salt. So for this recipe, it calls for you to make a hole in the middle of the dry ingredients. Like a well almost, I guess. I'm going to take a dry spoon. I'm going to make this hole. I hope you can see. I don't know if I can see. I made a hole in the middle. It's bigger than what it looks like. So next, once you do all that, you mix your ingredients together. It says to slowly pour the wet ingredients in, which I'm going to do. So hopefully you can see good. You can see right there. And then once I get it together, it smells so good already. Now this is how. So I know people gonna say, oh my God, she's so frugal. Yes, baby. When I was little and used to be around my grandmother's sisters and even her, baby, they scraped everything out of those bowls, baby. There was nothing in them bowls. Nothing. You might have seen some flour go around. Trying to hold this and slowly pour it. So and I'm going to show you how I do my parchment paper. Now, if you have any suggestions of maybe something I did wrong, but I know my cake turned out. You saw the picture. So that is a picture of it previously. Hopefully I can show you a newer picture. And we're going to see how it comes out today. So I'm going to mix the other on in. Pour a little bit of that and mix it. So my oven is preheating to 350 degrees. And I always talk about you have to start from where you are, because I am grateful for this moment in life that I'm in, that I get to stand on my own 2 feet and create content my way, narrate my own story. So what I'm going to do is, yes, I'm scraping this ingredient of this mixture of the wet ingredients, because this is the sugar, the egg, and the vanilla. And I have a spatula to get everything that I possibly can. And I'm going to move those and set those to the side. But now I'm just going to make sure I mix my cake batter. Okay, this stuff is giving me a little anxiety. Let me move this out the way. Remember, I have dishwater with a little Clorox in it. I'm going to set these to the side. So I have this out the way. And continue. That gives me a lot more room. Hopefully you can see better. There you go. Okay. And I'm going to continue. So again, my stove is preheating. I put it on 350. So just make sure you get out the lumps out. Just a little arm work. Just a little arm work. Thanks for who all's joining. If you're joining me, I'm doing a, this isn't my recipe. I just tweaked some of it. I did tweak it. And this is just a simple pound cake in a loaf pan, because I'm the only one that's going to eat it. It wouldn't make sense for a huge cake or whatever. I love pound cake just mixed with, pound cake and just vanilla ice cream. You already know, if you've seen any of my other previous lives, that it's real, raw, uncut, unfiltered, unedited. This recipe did not call for a hand mixer, so I have a whisk. And now I'm just mixing the batter together. It was a fairly, hopefully you'll go back and rewind this to the beginning and watch this this live from the beginning. And my disclaimer, I am not a baker. I'm just someone that knows how to make things work. So I'm just trying to make sure that I get all the lumps and that it's well mixed together. Because again, this recipe did not call for a hand mixer. Now, I don't know if you could, because I'm not a baker. So I'm assuming you probably could, but this is just a little, what they call it, elbow grease. Give you a little exercise on your hands. So just want to make sure you get to the bottom and scrape all of that. Now, I do have a spatula once I pour my, I'm going to set this just to the side, move these extra bowls that I had. I'm going to wash all of that. But we got to move along with this content, because this pound cake, I'm going to show you how I place it. Let me wipe this down right here. How I place it in my, gonna use parchment paper. So I have a little Clorox mixed in my water. If you see that on the side, that don't belong to me. That doesn't belong to me. But anywho, and I just use basic cake flour. And the lady that I haven't used any of her recipes. I like her techniques, her methods. I will put her name down. Disclaimer: she doesn't know me, and I don't know her. I found her on actually found her on TikTok, and I just like her method and her process. I didn't know anything about the human top, but thankfully it did come across my screen, and I was able to follow her. And her name is the Bunt Buddy. Again, I will link her down in my description box so you'll know who she is. She's not affiliated with me, and I'm not affiliated with her. I just like her process of how she prepares her cakes. Okay, these are my scissors that I only use for the kitchen. Now what I do is I line a piece of paper this way, and then I try to put a piece this way. So I'm gonna cut it. And this is parchment paper that I'm using. Gonna sit this to the side. Because you're gonna pour the bundt cake. Well, I can just do it like this. I don't have to cut any pieces off. I'm talking about some bundt cake. So let me just sit this to the side right here. Let me mix this up one more time because my oven should be ready to make sure this mixture is looking like it's good. It smells good. So I may have to just come back on and show you. I'm gonna let it stay live, so I'm probably have to come back on. Maybe I can read these questions if anybody has any questions for me, or if I can see them. I'm not gonna move my phone because see, it's good to have a piece of paper here. This is what I do. Call me old-fashioned, old school. I love it. Just putting my stuff up. So what I'm about to do now is I'm going to pour that cake mixture inside of my loaf pound cake. Now I forget what this is. This is just a regular pound cake. I've made this recipe several times. And I figured it would be good for Easter. Now, I was going to do some dressing or whatever, but I decided not to. I said, let me just do a pound cake. And this is it. We're going to let this sit. So I'm going to, my spatula. And this is it. Why I have the spatula? Because I'm going to scrape the ingredients out of this bowl. Yes, I am. Now, I'm going to have to turn this cake around for halfway while it's baking. I won't be able to show you, but I will show you the cooling process of when it cools down. So just trust me on this process and follow me on this journey. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn your notification bells on. Check out my posts here on my YouTube channel. Yes, I scrape everything. So I know when I was younger, that's the way my aunts and grandmother and my mom would do. Never. So sometimes I usually cut this excess paper off. I'm going to do it today. Just to cut the trimming around the side. And while this is baking, I will be tidying up. So this is in here. This is the Loaf pound cake. Alrighty. It is now 12:05, and I will place this inside of my oven. It's at 350 degrees. It says at least bake it between 50 to 60 minutes. So while it's doing that, I'm going to start cleaning up. Let me move this bag so I can. Hope everyone has a great Easter today. Everyone's getting full. Now, I would have liked to have grilled today. But I said, let me do the pound cake because I know I love me a good old pound cake. And then one that I found a fairly easy recipe. One, you don't have to use a hand mixer. So, can't really beat that. And I'm just wiping down all the ingredients. And I'm moving stuff out of the way. I have a bag over here on the side as I move. So I'm going to set these things to the side and wash. But set these because I need to spray these because those are greasy before I stick it in my dishwater. And I go ahead and put up my, especially my nesting bowls because they're stackable. And I go ahead and wash them and dry them. And move on to the next. So let me see if I can see any questions or anything. Give me just a second. I'm going to let the rest of this soak. If anyone has any questions, remember that went in at 12:05. I usually write it down, which I'm going to do in just a moment. I'm going to dry them off. And make sure I get a pen, but before I go, I'm going to see if anyone has any questions. Let me move this stuff. Let me see what all I can soak. I can soak that. Let that be soaking. I just always rinse off. Give me just a second. Here I come. Alrighty. 12:05. I'm gonna go write that down. I hope everyone is enjoying this live. I thought it would be fun just to I hope everyone, now, I forgot I went to the store on yesterday and I could have gotten some strawberries. I wasn't even thinking. That would have been nice, but hey. But I do have some vanilla ice cream, so hey, it is what it is. Let me see if anyone... I don't know. Happy Easter to everyone. Happy Easter, happy Easter. I don't see. Hi to everyone. So, let me write this down. to share it. I dang gonna sure did. Sorry about that. I forgot to share when I first started. Hey, this is real raw, uncut, unfiltered, and unedited. But hey, it is what it is. So back to washing. I didn't see any questions anyone had. So if there's a delay, I shared it and then I had a phone call. So if anyone is watching this after this live is over, that's why it may have had a pause or a delay. So I think I'm gonna end this one here and just come back with, and that's what I'll do, show the ending result. So I will be back. Let me do this. So I'll clean up my kitchen and then I'll come back because I'm gonna need the space for this. Since this is a good spot and I have to show you where I will be cooling the pound cake. But as I always say, encourage yourself, believe in yourself, never give up, never let anyone write your story for you, and follow your own goals, dreams, and aspirations. And I'll be back on to show you the finished product of the loaf pound cake. Peace out, beautiful people.